I think I told you I'm writing a book about parenting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was writing about this week was
Mm-hmm.
the teachable moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
People think that everything is backwards and upside down. People think that you know something or you have some information, and so you take this information and you teach it to people. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, because it's the same with health, right?
Yes.
People go to the doctor for health advice,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor gives them advice, but the people already know, right? So they're not really going to the doctor for health advice,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
something
Yeah.
different. So the same with them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take a piece of information and teach it to people. You wait until something happens, and then you look at what happens
Mm-hmm.
and you teach the people something from that thing that happens.
Yes.
So as long as something is happening, you can learn from it. Yeah, like you you study the game after the game
Yes.
because then you have the data and the information to work with. You can't study the game before the game. You have to study the game after. So something must happen first, and this is called the teachable moment, where something happens and you can, and the person will remember it because it's real. It's not abstract. It's real.
Yes.
So something happened today, and I
Mm-hmm.
said to Will, here's your here's your education for today. Here's your point for today. Right? When you are angry,
Mm-hmm.
you are not in what? When you are angry, you are not in, and
Mm-hmm.
and Will said
Mm-hmm.
control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Education finished for today. So that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand that one
Mm-hmm.
thing,
Yes.
that is more than
Yes.
anything else that you can learn. When you are angry, you're not in control.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are communicating with a person who is angry or aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
it's because they're angry or aggressive because they don't have what they want, and maybe also they feel like they're losing or they know that they're losing, and that's why they're angry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's very important to remember this because it helps you understand that if you want to win at something, you have to stay cool and calm and focused. If you want to win or you want progress or you want to go
Mm-hmm.
forward, the moment that you bite, then you're not in control. And this, you can find these moments in in a day, in everybody's day.
Mm-hmm.
You can see something happen and you can say, okay, did you see that? This and this and this. Okay, this happened. Why do you think that happened? Right? What can you learn from that observation or that experience? Um, Here's another example. Will said to me, but we were talking about another topic, and Will said to me, but if I can tell these people the truth, then they will change their minds. enter teachable moment. Really? Do you think if you tell them the truth, they will change their minds? I
Mhm.
think if you tell them the truth, they will be angry with you. They will not change their minds. They will be angry
Mhm.
with you
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
your truth is not important to them.
Mhm.
It doesn't fit into the way that they see the world. It doesn't fit into their belief, right? If
Mhm.
the Muslim and the Christians are talking about who is the greatest prophet. The Muslims are going to say Muhammad and the Christians are going to say Jesus, and
Mhm.
that's that, right? You're not going, one side is not going to change the opinion of the other. And so telling people the truth is not enough to get something to change. There must be, you must understand that that's not, that it doesn't work like that. It's not that it's not important, it just doesn't work like that.
Mhm.
People believe before they reason. People believe before they reason, and then they take their reason and then they take their reason and they find a way for their reason to connect with their belief system. Um, if you believe in God, then when something amazing happens, when there's a miracle, the miracle is because of God.
Mhm.
So their belief is
Yes.
shapes their interpretation of the facts or the meaning they get from what happens. It doesn't always work in a logical and practical way. The court of law is very often like you have two sides, both sides believe they're correct, and both sides have verbal hammers, and they're hitting each other
Mhm.
with these verbal hammers constantly. And the the truth is not the only important element there in that situation. There's
Mhm.
much more. And that can reflect on your ability to be calm can be as helpful as the truth because people can be passionate about the truth. And passion is emotion. And emotion is not always under your control. And so you can be very passionate, but not get anywhere because it's the wrong way to understand and the wrong way to communicate. And so I was writing about that because I think that if you look at those everyday examples, everything you need is there. Everything you need to learn is around you. Look at observe other people. How do they stand? How do they walk? Where do they look? And you can see so much more. And some people pick up this idea early on in life and some people later. I remember traveling through London years ago with a cousin of mine, and we were in his car going somewhere. I don't remember where, and I don't remember what
Mhm.
for. And he said, "Do you see that man standing there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's a drug dealer." And
Mhm.
I said, "What?" He said, "That's a drug dealer." I'm like, "How do you know?" He said, "Just look at him, observe him.
Mhm.
Look at how he stands. Look at how he looks. Look at his clothes. Look at what he's carrying with him."
Mhm.
And so these are teachable moments where you can see what is happening around about you and work on a solution to the problem. And most often, in my experience, the solutions are easier than people think.
Mhm.
One of the one of the easiest examples, or let's say there's a difference between simple and easy. Simple means, well, see, these are synonyms in English, but
Mhm.
if we
Mhm.
if we flip into Slovak, simple is jednoducho,
Jednoducho.
and
Mhm.
easy is ľahký, right?
Ľahko. Mhm. Alebo
Right.
ľahký.
These are clearly different
Mhm.
things, right?
Mhm.
Because simple is like process,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
easy is like complexity, yeah. Where uh, I forgot the point that I was going to make about the difference between simple and easy. I can't remember my original point, but here's another point.
Mhm.
Simple. This is silly, but I was going to say this anyway. Simple and complicated are the same thing. Simple and complicated are the
Mhm.
same thing.
Jednoducho je komplet. Mhm.
They're the same thing.
Mhm.
Because because if I want light in my room,
Mhm.
I
Mhm. Mhm.
I flick the switch.
Mhm.
It's simple.
Okay.
But the
Mhm.
process
It's complicated.
through which
Mhm.
light comes
Mhm.
into the room,
Mhm.
light bulb, electricity, wires, power
Mhm.
stations,
Mhm.
that's really complicated. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when someone says it's simple, it is simple and complicated at exactly the same time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
people look for one perspective on everything.
Mhm.
And very often there are more perspectives. The
Mhm.
what is expensive might be better, but it might create more complications
Mhm.
at the same time.
Mhm.
So good is always good until it's not good anymore. That's the point there. But people miss these teachable opportunities where there's something to learn from everything. Um, like somebody said to me this week.
Mhm.
Somebody said to me this week. It's a modern the modern parenting is terrible. The parents are not helping their children. The children need to go to school because that's the best place to get their education. Because when the children are at home, most parents just let their children play computer games until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they let them
Mhm.
sleep, and they don't do anything with them. And this is terrible. And my first thought, okay, I said, look, to be honest, I said
Mhm.
nothing. I said nothing. Okay, I just went, okay, whatever. But my thinking was, maybe it's not bad.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not bad. Maybe the children are learning something from the games that they can use and apply in the real world because games are stories and stories copy reality.
Mhm.
And in the real world, all modern business is the gamification of life. Turns life into a game. All business turns life into a game. Right.
Mhm.
Here's an example. Here's a very simple example. The local shop, the co-op shop, right?
Mhm. Copy.
They
Mhm.
have regular sales every day. Every day there's different products that are cheaper. You
Mhm.
don't know which products will be cheaper until you go to the shop, right? And then when you're in the shop, you see different products that are cheaper.
Mhm.
This is the gamification
Game.
of shopping.
Mhm.
It's turning shopping
Mhm.
into a game
Mhm.
where can I find the best price, the
Mhm.
best bargain, and
Mhm.
they know you because they have your purchase history and your details, and they know where you go in the shop, and they know
Mhm.
what you look at, and they know
Mhm.
where to put the products to make you buy the product. It's not by chance, it's not by accident. It's
Game.
it's it's a game, and it's no different from a computer game
Mhm.
where you're trying to strategize in a
Mhm.
network or
Yeah. Yeah.
framework how to
Mhm.
do something
Mhm.
different or how to do something better or how to solve a problem or how to solve a puzzle or how to
Mhm.
get to the end of something. And if children are doing that, then maybe they are learning more than they could learn at school or from a
Mhm.
teacher or from the television or from their
Mhm.
parents, all of which are really very one-dimensional experiences.
Mhm.
Whereas the computing requires interaction. It might only be a 0 and 1 binary choice, but it still requires interaction. And life is binary, right?
Mhm.
You're alive or dead, you go left or you go right, you say yes or you say no.
Mhm.
Life is binary choices all the way through. There's
Mhm.
no there's no gray zone because it doesn't help when you don't make a decision. It doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
You have to
Mhm.
make it. You have to
Yeah.
make a decision. The,
Mhm.
the patient goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, am I healthy?" And the doctor says, "You might have cancer." What good is that? I mean, that's completely unhelpful to everybody because you either
Mhm.
have the problem or you don't have the problem. Because if you might have the problem, nobody can do anything
Everything.
because
Mhm.
there's no real basis for action because there's no evidence or information.
Mhm.
So so a lot of what people think automatically is negative might not be. If you've seen a lot of the complexity and structure of some, not all, but some computer games,
Mhm.
they are like historical novels. They will teach you about um, French history or Russian history or American history or
Yeah.
British history. And like again, not all of them, but the more intellectual ones will cause people to strategize and to
Mhm.
think about different ideas. Like uh, I was talking to my son today about the American Revolution
Mhm.
and like why America was justified to have their revolution, why it was
Mhm.
acceptable, why it was a good revolution.
Mhm.
And he's like, the American Revolution, I don't really know anything about that. What was that? And I said, Assassin's Creed 3. And that means nothing to you, but to him, that's a game that I gave him to play on his Xbox.
Mhm.
And in the
Mhm.
game, you play an American Indian who travels through America during the American Revolution and sees all the major events of the revolution and meets the characters involved in the American
Interesting.
Revolution. Yeah. So when I said Assassin's Creed 3, he went, ah, I know that.
Yeah.
And so it's recently I had a lot of conversations with a friend, and my friend said to me, "What do you want me to do?" And I said, "I don't want you to do anything. Your life is your choice. You do what you want to do." But he said, "No, no, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me. How's it going, darling?"
I was thinking maybe you need to get a snack.
You'll find some ice lollies in the freezer. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah. You know what to do with them, yeah? Make sure everybody gets one. Okay. Okay. All right. So, preparation. Preparation is victory. Right. So, what was I talking about before Jazz came in? Help me out.
Oh.
Help me.
Hmm.
Okay, I was talking with okay, I got it. So I was talking with a friend, and my friend said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "I don't want you." I said, look, maybe I do want you to do something, but that's not important because it's your life, it's your choice. If I say I want you to do it and you do it and something bad happens, you will say it's my fault. So I'm like, I'm not playing that game, right? I'm not playing that game. It's that's a bad game to play. Yeah. So, yeah. So this person really wanted me to tell them what to do, and you can't tell anyone what to do. You can only let them theorize, philosophize, and make decisions for themselves. You can't you can't go any further than that because the future is not written and nobody knows what is going to happen. You can be going to help somebody and something bad happen to you while you are doing that, right? You don't know. Okay, so your friend wants help with his windows, yeah, cleaning his windows. So you climb a ladder, and you could fall off the ladder, right? You don't know. You don't know. I mean, you don't know exactly what the result is going to be of somebody else's action. They can go and do something really bad, and it actually have an overall positive effect. Yeah. Right.